mums and dads there, and all the kids are playing one after the other, right? But to me, it could have been Carnegie Hall. This was my big moment. I had an elderly lady accompanying me on the piano. She was nearly 30. It's funny though, when you're 8, she seems like an old lady. Now the 30-year-old lady seems like a hot young chick. She was like an elderly lady. But she gave me some advice. That's the important thing I want to mention, because we are here tonight talking about young people playing music. She gave me some advice, which is very good advice I want to share with you, which you could pass on to any young people doing a performance, particularly when they sort of start to do their first solos. She said to me, don't stop. Because that's a big problem. She said, if you play a wrong note, because, you know, kids play a wrong note and they just stop. She said, don't stop. Just keep going, no one minds. She said, if you lose the place, don't stop. You play where you think we're up to, I will follow you, I'm your accompanist. She said, whatever happens, don't stop. It's very good advice. So I knew what I had to do. I went out on the stage with this ringing in my head, don't stop. And I got out there and I started playing my solo. And it was going rather well, if I do say so myself. Until I got to a part in the middle where I went for a big one. That's a technical term, trombone. I went for a big one, and I discovered something about the trombone that afternoon that up to that point had escaped my attention somehow, and it's this. It just comes straight off. Now, it didn't come off in my hand because my arm wasn't long enough then to do that. It slipped out of my fingers. The people, they're skeptics that say I was nervous and had sweaty hands. I'd been oiling the slide, I had oil on my fingers. It came off out of my hand, slid off the end, and took off and into the audience. It hit a lady in the third row, which is pretty good range for an 8-year-old. You'll notice they've seated you back a bit. It's not going to work because I'm a lot bigger now. And I'm standing there with half a trombone. And the words came into my head. Don't stop. Don't stop. Now when she said that, I reckon she was thinking of like missed notes, lost plays, you know, the usual stuff. I don't think she had envisioned my trombone being strewn across the hall. So I'm there with half a trombone. I don't know if you've ever heard half a trombone. It's not good. And I had to decide for myself. There was no one I could ask in the middle of a song. At only 8 years of age on my first solo, I had to decide for myself, what do you do when something seriously goes wrong? I mean, really goes wrong in the middle of a performance. Do you just stop in the middle of a song and say, excuse me, ma'am, can I have that piece of my trombone? Yes, the piece that's stuck in your leg. Or do you just keep going and hope nobody notices? I kept going. Nobody noticed. You know what? I didn't only keep going, I kept doing this as well. I didn't miss a thing. But this didn't make a lot of difference, but I wasn't going to... Yeah, I got the end. Anyway, you know what? Speaking of kids and playing music, now that could have been a traumatic experience. That could easily have been the moment when someone might have gone, that was so embarrassing, it was so awful, I'm never going on stage again. It was the opposite for me. Because see, I got to the end of this piece without a slide. And it can't get a lot worse than that, trust me. The trombonists will tell you, we have nightmares about this sort of stuff. And at the end of the piece, you know what everyone did. I mean, what's a bunch of adults going to do, mums and dads, when the kid's slide falls off and into the audience and he keeps playing? Standing ovation, everyone's smiling and clapping, you know. Save it. We'll need it. So all I did, I thought like this, I thought, hang on a sec, I've just messed up as badly as you possibly can, and everyone's smiling and clapping. Now, everywhere else in life, I knew at that stage, if you messed up, you got in trouble. Here, when you mess up on stage, everyone smiles and claps. And I went, I'm staying here for the rest of my life. Seriously, and I've felt like that ever since. Whenever I get on stage, I go, whew, home. Everything's going to be fine for the next couple... Nothing can go wrong for the next couple of hours. When I get off stage, of course, anything could happen. But up here, it's safe. So that's how I feel about it. This hasn't come off since then, by the way. There's always the next time. So, anyway, I'm going to begin this piece, as I said, on the trombone, a cappella, attempt for you 2 notes at once, and we'll see what happens after that. I have no idea.